it's kind of like, it's kind of like how us as men, how we like to go after the female. You know what I mean? We plan it in our heads. I don't know, because I don't have swag, so, I plan it in my head. I try to think about it, like what I'm going to say to the girl, you know what I mean? And then when I go up to her, I finally go up to her and I'll be like, hey, there, sweetie, sugar foot, baked toast. I ain't got no swag, so, I just say that, but, I'm really happy to doing God's job. Okay, first let's start reading. I just want to read 2 verses before I start. The first verse will be the theme today, would be the power of godliness, to do the right thing for the right reason, the right way. I would like to first read at 1 Timothy 4, 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 8. I have my Bible here, but I also have my phone. That's where I got my notes at. It's a $500 phone, so I'm going to use it to, My sister she didn't pay $500 for this phone, but it's a $500 phone. So I'm going to use this $500 phone. Okay? So the first verse I would like to read will be 1 Timothy 4, verse 8. First verse, it says, for physical training... Oh, is everybody there yet? I just want to make sure that everybody's there. I'll give y'all a few minutes. Everybody's good? I'll take your time. All right. First Timothy 4, chapter 8. For physical training is of some value, but godliness has value for all things, holding promise for both the present life and the life to come. And the other verse I would like to read would be Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4 and 5. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4 through 5. Hear, O Israel, promise to you. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and with all your strength. I like that. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. Let's go before the Lord. Lord, I really want to thank you, Lord, for bringing us together in your temple, bringing us together with your grace. Lord, I come before you in frail weakness, so much frailty, Lord, that only you can come execute this message that I have before me. And if this is not the message that you want me to preach, Father, mold me, Lord. Mold me into saying something that you need the people to hear, that you need for these people to hear. I'm just happy just to be doing your job, Lord, because I owe you that much, if anything. I pray to you, Lord. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Now, well, the theme is the power of godliness. So, but first thing I want to do is I won't probably be talking about the power of godliness before I even like speak upon that. I want to have this assurance that everybody is with God in order to gain His power. Being that I don't want to talk about something that I want to make sure that everyone has first in order for it to gain. If that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. So today I would be talking about compartmentalizing. Can everybody say compartmentalizing?
Compartmentalizing.
Compartmentalizing. I don't know how to say compartmentalizing in Creole, so I'm going to say compartmentaliser. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's how you say it in Creole, but I don't know. So compartmentalizing it means to divide, to section off. Meaning that, you separate everything. If you want something to be done in a way, you probably have to separate it. So, and the way that we see the separation, how it's done best, is by the world. The world specializes in compartmentalizing. It loves putting people in sections. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll put the Christians over here, atheists over here. They'll put politicians over here, Democrats over here. I mean, like, it sections everybody. That's what it's best to do. And the thing about it is, we first look at compartmentalizing first by, and Genesis chapter 18, verse 22 and 23. This was the time when Abraham went to talk before the Lord, because he knew that the Lord was going to deteriorate the whole land of Sodom and Gomorrah. So I'm not gonna read all of it. It's like a long verse, but I'm just gonna read it for you. You don't have to read it with me. But it says, Genesis chapter 18, verse 22. The men turned away and went towards Sodom, but Abraham remained standing before the Lord. Then Abraham approached him and said, will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked? What if there are 50 righteous people in the city? Will you really sweep it away and not spare the place for the sake of the 50 righteous people in it? Far be it from you to do such a thing, to kill the righteous with the wicked, treating the righteous and the wicked alike. Far be it from you. Will not the judge of all the earth do right? And then the Lord said, if I find 50 righteous people in the city of Sodom, I will spare the whole city. And Abraham spoke up again. Now I have been so bold as to speak to the Lord, though I am nothing but ash and dust. What if the number of the righteous is 5 less than 50? Will you destroy the whole city for the lack of 5 people? If I found 45 people, he said, I will not destroy it. Once again, he spoke to him. What if only 40 people are found there? He said, for the sake of 40, I will not do it. Then he said, may the Lord not be angry, but let me speak. What if only 30 can be found there? He answered, I will not do it if I find 30. Abraham said, now that I have been so bold as to speak to the Lord, what if only 20 people can be found there? He said, for the sake of 20, I will not destroy it. Then he said, may the Lord not be angry, but let me just speak once more. What if only 10 people can be found there? He answered, for the sake of 10, I will not destroy it. When the Lord finished speaking with Abraham, he left, and Abraham returned home. Then, at verse 19, it got to the point where after Abraham spoke to the Lord, and then we came before the Lord, so he said, he looked down towards Sodom and Gomorrah, towards all the land of the plain, and he saw dense smoke rising from the land like a smoke from the surface. So when God destroyed the cities of the plain, he remembered Abraham, and he brought out Lot out of the catastrophe that overthrew the cities where Lot had lived in. So, if you see it, the Lord said, for the sake of the righteous, if I could find at least 10 faithful, if I could find at least 10 faithful, I'll spare it. Out of the whole city of Sodom and Gomorrah, God only found 1 faithful. 1 faithful. You'll be surprised if in the area that you stay in, something bad could happen to it, and maybe not something bad could happen to it. You could be the reason that your area or wherever you stay at, or the friends that you hang with, you could be the reason nothing could happen to them because you are at least the 1 faithful above everybody that you hang with. You could be that 1 faithful. You could be that 1 light. See, the thing that trips me up, right? See, we always try to section the world always try to section us away from everybody. And when that happens, right? When that happens, we tend to enhance that same theory. We enhance that same theory towards ourselves. We see the world specializing in that, so we try to do that ourselves. Try to imagine your life in a pie graph, right? You have on one slice, you have family and friends. On the other slice, you have your social life. The other slice, you have church. And then the other slice, you have your relationship. I don't know if anybody has a Shelly or whatever. But, and the thing is, in that 1 slice, we have God. See what I'm trying to say here? See, if Christ must be anything, he must be everything.
Amen.
For that to happen, and for him to do so many things in your life, and for you to only give him a slice of you, to only give him the religious side of you. See, we always try to keep God in the religious side of our lives, not in the whole lives, period. So we'll just be like, we'll keep God let's say for example, we'll be like, okay, Sundays, come to church on Sunday, Lord, you got me. Praise and worship, you got me. Bible study, you got me. But my finances, my friends, the way, if I have a temper problem, how I talk to people, I like to say what I gotta say, and So keep that. No, that part is not for you, God. I'm gonna stay religious, and you gonna and I'll keep with this part over here. That's so sad because we try to only give God a certain piece. We only give God a certain piece when He deserves the whole pie. When He deserves to intervene in every aspect of our lives. He needs to intervene in our family. He needs to intervene in our friendships. He needs to intervene in our relationships, not just in church. If you can't just keep God in here and then step out and be somebody else.
Come on.
That's carnality. That's a culture. That's we live in carnal. Like, for example, I know everybody here familiar with Beyonce. Everybody know Beyonce. Who Beyonce is, right? Yeah. Now, nobody supposed to be okay. That's what Beyonce knows. Divas a version of us. Okay.
Even I know.
Beyonce, right? Beyonce, she will always tell people in interviews and stuff, she will always say, like, the Beyonce that you see on stage, that's not Beyonce. That's Sasha. That's Sasha. Beyonce loves God. What about Sasha? That's compartmentalizing. See, you trying to be somebody else on stage, but off stage you a different person. Beyonce, as long as she goes to church on Sunday, as long as she can read a Bible verse, as long as she can sing one song, she says the Lord's Prayer. After the Lord's Prayer, she knows she goes into heaven. And then after that, she hop on stage and that's her. That's how she feels. That's how we are too. That's how we are too. It's sad because it's really sad. But there's another aspect of how the Lord how the Lord does His will, and of how when you become one with Him and not just a section, He also does His best. I want you to read John 15 verse 5. John 15 verse 5 says, I am the vine, you are the branches. The one who remains in Him and I in Him bears much fruit. Because apart from me, you can accomplish nothing. Point blank, period. See, the thing is, we feel like we can accomplish so much if we just keep God religiously, but not as a whole. See, it's like you just can't keep God in one section. He doesn't deserve that. He won't make, and then you won't make any type of progress with that. You just won't. It's sad because when you really take a look at your lives, right? The way that we walk, we probably walk 75%, 85% of our lives. And when we do that, we only need God. We only need God when we go to our religious side. When it comes to our finances, we don't bother Him. He's like the last person that we call for. Like I said, if Christ must be anything, He must be everything. Don't treat God as a slice. He died on the cross just for us. He came here to be rejected by men for us to be accepted in heaven. Point blank, period. If you want to come reject Him here, nails, thorns over His head, and then you look at your life and then you try to figure out what's going on, and then you try to figure out why is God not moving, because He's only a slice. You put Him there last minute, and the thing is, when you put God last minute in His plan, when stuff goes wrong with you, don't be surprised if God put you last minute in his plan. Do not be surprised if that happens. And then you try to figure out why God is not working, and you try to figure out why God is not doing this. Oh, why can't I find a good man? Why can't I find a good wife? All that type of stuff. And then you're not even one with him in the first place. The last thing you ever want to do is to do God's work and never be with him in the first place. That's the last thing you ever want to do. So, that's all I wanted to say. Before I close, I would like for y'all to envision yourself, right? Imagine that your house, imagine that your whole body is a temple, right? And as your body is a temple, try to imagine that you're building it as a house. You have rooms over here that you want to fix. You have a bathroom that you want to fix, the basement, everything, right? You're trying to make the house clean enough, right? So when you have a house that's really presentable, any guest that you invite to your house, they'll be glad that, your house is really nice and really comfortable and everything, right? So while that's happening, right, you finish building your house, your body. You step out there, you invite so many guests. You invite, let's say music will be a guest, hate, greed, selfishness. We invite so many of that in ourselves, right? When it's time for God to come in and correct, everything gets so uncomfortable. Everything doesn't feel right. It's like there's no, and then God try to look inside yourself. He try to look inside you, try to find space for him to stay in. And you're trying to keep him in there, and he's trying to stay in there, but you have so many of these things inside of you that's just too much for him. So God can't stay in the same place that he died for. He can't stay in the same, he can't be around sin. He can't be around selfishness. He can't be around greed. He can't be around hate. He just can't be around that. So he will leave until you make space for him. When we go out there into the world and we put in so many stuff inside of us, you don't know how many stuff that we put inside our souls that when God needs to intervene, he can't intervene at all. There's no space for him. So when you get a chance, being by yourself, just you and him, try to make space for him. All the stuff that isn't of his will, all the stuff that he truly disagrees with, that doesn't belong in you, to make space for him to work inside of you. It won't be comfortable. It won't be a comfortable aspect. It really won't. It'll be so distraught, but it's necessary in order for him, in order for you to be in one and to do his work. May the Lord bless y'all. I really appreciate you joining me, speaking with me, and may God bless you.